Morning everyone, so welcome to today's video. So it's currently 5:43 in the morning and I'm going to shoot a sunrise at Rushcutters Bay. So today I've only got one composition in mind, which means this might be quite a quick video if I do end up only shooting that one composition. Conditions today, clear skies. It's twilight right now, so it's dark blue at the moment, which is really pretty, so maybe I'll get to shoot that with the composition I've got in mind as well. And today I am shooting my first video on the Canon M50, which is really exciting. I got this 2 days ago, so this is the first video I've shot with it. And I guess this video is kind of gonna be a little bit of me trying it out. I've shot a few photos with it already and I really like how it handled it itself with photos, so it'll be exciting to see how it does with video. One thing I've noticed with this camera is that the autofocus is insanely good, and I can see right now on the screen it's just got my face all the time and it's so impressive. But that's not the topic of today's video. I will make a video about this camera and why I bought it and stuff like that, so keep an eye out for that. So I realise now in editing that I didn't press the record button for the next clip. What I was talking about was my composition and the way I was photographing the scene. So I will continue on from the part where I explain my composition and explain how I'm going to shoot the scene. So this is my composition here. We've got the sailboats in the midground here. In the foreground we've just got some water, and then of course the four buildings on the left side, and on the right side we've got the 2 buildings as well. So if I keep one building to the far right, and then we've got the group of 4 buildings on the left as well, it kind of acts as a natural frame for the image and stops the eye from travelling outside of the scene. So the best exposure for this image, I'd say, is 1/3 of a second f8 ISO 100. And that's given me a nice histogram within the walls, so it's nicely exposed, and while I might be able to bring it back in post, but at the moment it hasn't got that much contrast. The image doesn't really have anything for the viewer to really look at and stay looking at. Yeah, it's kind of an average image, but here it is. So looking at this image in post, I don't really like the image too much. There are boats everywhere, masts going all throughout the image, and it's quite distracting. To combat this, I could have gone a bit wider. I did shoot in the same location with pretty much the same composition, but at 24mm a couple months ago. And I want to show you that image as well, as I believe that it's a much stronger image and a lot more relaxing. So I've spotted one more composition. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but it's got some nice reflective qualities to it in the water, even though the water is rippling, you know, it's to be expected. I'm currently shooting the buildings behind me with the water underneath it as well. And it's a nice composition. It's nothing really special, but you know, at this point I'm really just trying out the M50, so. So my settings are 1/3 of a second, f8 ISO 100, and you can see what I mean by the reflection in the water. The water is rippled, so I would like to have a longer exposure, but I don't entirely want to put an ND filter on, just because it might destroy some of the reflections. You know, I might give that a shot, just so that we can maybe get a few images from this video. It might add an interesting quality in the image if I put an ND filter on. But you know, I don't really mind that image that I just took at 1/3 of a second. It's got some nice subtle orange clouds in the left corner of the image, so I like that. I'm gonna put on my ND filter though. So I think I'm going to stack my polarizer on top of my ND filter, just because there is a lot of dynamic range in this image. The polarizer will just help with bringing back some of the highlights in the image, which is the sky. And to me, in this image, the sky is really important. So that's gonna just darken the image by 10 stops, which is gonna allow me to do a long exposure in bright daylight. So my settings for this image is 30 seconds, f5.6 ISO 100, and because of this 10 stop, it's darkened the image down, and it means that I need to compensate for that with my shutter and aperture. The reason why I'm not changing my ISO is because it implements noise into the image, and frankly my camera is the worst at handling noise, so I don't really like to bring my ISO up at all. I'm going to keep it 30 seconds f5.6 ISO 100. I've got a 2-second timer as well. I think it's also important to note that I set up my focus and everything before I put the 10 stop on, because obviously I can't see the screen. But let's take this image, make sure it's 2-second timer. So I found another composition here. We've got the trees above here leading the eye to the end of the image. So one part of this image that I really like is the fact that there's some nice contrasting colours in the trees with the different shades of greens. Like there's some light, there's some dark green. And as well as that, the contrast from the dark green to the blue sky as well. It's also got a sense of symmetry in the image as well with the reflection in the water. So I think I'm gonna go 25 seconds f8 ISO 100. I'm just gonna check the focus over here. Yeah, so the focus looks good all throughout the image. So I'm gonna take this shot with my 10 stop on. one thing I have noticed in the scene is this nice green and orange coloured tree. It gives us some nice contrast in colours, so I'm going to take my ND and polarizer off. See if I can actually frame this image, but I'm not entirely sure. So I actually think that I got a couple of nice images, mainly the long exposure of the buildings with the reflection and the trees as well. Yeah, so I'm glad I came out today. I did also take a few images with the M50, so here are a few of them. They're just images that I quickly snap between clips. There's a few of them that I don't mind. I've actually really enjoyed shooting on the M50. I took it out yesterday just to give it a try. But yeah, I'm gonna finish the video here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.